Okay guys, welcome back to Darish Zone DZ, and this is a retro machine Omega edition, guys. A new video because I want to show you some new things I'm working with suggestion of my VIP, lovely loyalty VIP. So basically I remade the screen manager for the Omega edition of Retro Machine 512 GB. It's not anymore the bezel manager, it's called the screen manager because there's a new feature on the script, and I will show you immediately. Okay, basically I've added the bilinear filtering. You can enable one or of the bilinear filtering, so it's like before. You can swap between the system overlay, where every system had its own overlay, okay, the scanline overlay, which is always the same with the performance scanline. You can turn on overlays, turn off overlays, turn on widescreen mode where the image is stretched to the widescreen format, so you have to disable the overlays first, turn off widescreen, and the new feature, the enabled bilinear filtering, or on or off. So if you enable the bilinear filtering, you will have a smoother image. If you disable the bilinear filtering, it's a rough image. By default on my works, I always disable the bilinear filtering, but some of you like it, so I've decided to bring it back. So now you are free to turn on or off as you will. Okay, another new thing I want to show you, it's for our friends which have a CRT type 4/3 ratio monitor. I know it was an hassle for you with the DZ image, but not anymore, because on the video output scripts I've added a new interesting feature. So now you can change between Full HD mode, which is 1080p, the HD ready mode, which is 220p, and the CRT mode, which is the 480p. This mode, it's with 4/3 ratio, so if you switch on that, you will have an output for the monitor, CRT monitor type. Okay, so just if you want to use a cab, for example, a cab, arcade cab, just enable the CRT mode. The image will output to 480p, which is low, but no problem, because you can change the resolution before starting a game. You have to learn how the run command works when you start a game. In that case, I start Crash and Burn from the 3DO. When you start a game, you are prompted with a special screen, loading screen, which is fast. You don't have much time. If you press the button immediately, the A button immediately, you will enter into the run command like that. You have to be quick, and you can enter this menu. There you can change the resolution of your emulator. Okay, if I change the resolution, it will be applied to all the folder system. Okay, so you don't need to change every time for every game. But if you want a change resolution for a specific game, just go to emulator for ROM. I'm sorry, I was wrong. The select video mode for emulator plus ROM, and then you can change the resolution, and it will be applied only to specific game. Okay, guys. So finally, the DZ image is also CRT type friendly, not anymore only 69 widescreen oriented. Okay, so if you use this on a CRT type monitor, just swap to the 4/3 video mode, then you have to disable the bezel, because otherwise you will see the bezel on your 4/3 frame, but it's enough to disable the bezel there. This time you can disable once and for all. Turn off overlays / bezel is the same, and the bezel will not show at all. Okay, I will show later this. So change to 4/3 output, disable the bezel, and the last thing you need is a compatible theme. This theme, the Neon series, will not work with a 4/3 output. It's not compatible. You will see image art overlapped. You have to change to another theme. There's plenty of them. If you want a DZ theme, of course you can change to all the Fluent type family, the machine family. There's basically all the theme based on Sicuelo, like VIC-40, which is the theme dedicated to the Commodore 64, Vintage, Workbench, and even the X82. Otherwise, you can still download a 4/3 theme from the RetroPie repository. Is there, and you can change. There's a lot of themes that you can download. Look there. You look there. For example, Artbook. If you see 4, 4, and 3, it means it's a 4/3 theme. So you can download, but keep in mind it may not be compatible with all the custom tabs that I created for the image. So if you want full compatibility with the custom tab, it's better to stick with the themes included into the Omega edition. Okay, there's 30 different custom theme. You know, this is the most popular theme. But let's see together the new bezel, the full bezel, which I want to show you now. Okay, we talked about this a lot because some of you like a brand theme, custom theme with the brand. So I decided to improve the bezel, the generic Retro Machine bezel. Now it have a Retro Machine. The Retro Machine logo, okay, but this is not too obtrusive. It's very simple because this theme has to be simple, and the theme still have the performance scan line. Okay. I keep repeating what is the performance scan lines. They are not really shader scan line because the shader scan line are very taxing for the little PI4, so it runs way better without it, but the scan lines help to have an image more similar to arcades. Okay, so basically the bezel, the scan line, sorry, is merged into a bezel. If I disable the bezel, you see even the scan line will disappear. It's very blocky, but for those of you that doesn't like the blocky bitmap, now there's a solution. First of all, let's put back the bezel, which add back the scan line, so the image is a little less rough. Okay, let's back a little to the screen manager. let's back, and now we enable the bilinear filtering. I will show you Final Fight again to see the difference. Maybe the anniversary edition, why not? And you will see the difference because the bilinear is enabled. I can say properly the word bilinear. Okay. Let's take a hanger like before. You see the image is smoother. Okay, basically bilinear filtering plus the performance guideline, you have an image very similar to the CRT or the arcade, basically the arcade cab. Very nostalgic, huh? Very retro. Okay, don't try anymore to enable there. I show the bilinear is there, but you have to forget this option because it's not works anymore, because the bilinear filter is now managed by my script. So leave alone, don't touch on that menu, just use my script to change between bilinear on and off. Okay, let's see the other bezel, because you know I stick to the original ratio of emulator because I know you care, I care, we care. I talk about, for example, the handle. If I use some Link's game, which is an handle, was an handle, the screen ratio is different, so you see the bezel is also different. Still have retro machine on it, but it's lesser size. Okay, with a bigger image plus the bilinear, it's very it's too smooth. Too much soft. What you think? Okay, let's skip it with the not there, the handle. Let's see the Game Boy. Okay, this is the Game Boy with the big bezel, and the bilinear is still enabled. I repeat, you can disable only from my script. And let's check the Game Boy Advance. And the bezel is still different. Okay. Let's check the Game Boy Color. And the bezel is different. Okay. Disney. So now we turn off again the bilinear. Still Screen Manager. Okay, are you with me? The disable bilinear filtering. So the image will back to roughness. And not only now. Sorry, let's back a little on the Screen Manager, because now we turn off, or no, we change to the system overlay. Okay, we change to the system overlay, so we lost in that case scanline and bilinear. scanline, because scanline are included only into retro machine bezel, and bilinear because I've just turned it off. Okay, I know, I always play the same games, but how can we do? I love them. Okay, so the bezel is changed. The bezel now it's different for every system. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try the Commodore 64. And the bezel is different. Let's try Dreamcast. And it's different. So every system had its own bezel if you select this option. If you want the same bezel for every system, just keep the retro machine one, and you also have the performance guidelines. Okay. So we back another time to the screen manager, and this time I want to disable bezel. So turn off overlays / bezel. Okay, let's see together. This is for our friends with the CRT type. Let's assume they still see the bezel, so they need to run the system without the bezel. Was not possible before. It is now. And the bezel is gone. The bezel is gone. It's not over. Let's back to our lovely. I have another surprise for you to show. It's not over, guys. Let's back to Screen Manager, and this time we enable the widescreen. Enable, turn on widescreen. So the image will now be stretched to the entire screen, okay, without the bezel. And the surprise I had to show you is a system is back. Guess what? With the last version of Omega version of Retro Machine, brings back the MS-DOS. Yes, I found the way to bring back the MS-DOS. Why? Because it's not the same thing to provide this as DLC, and most of them want it included, and so I told myself, why not? So it's back. There's some catch on this. Well, just a little. I've just slightly reduced the set. So if you want the very full set, I can make a DLC the set is slightly reduced. This is the only catch, but most of games that was ditched was flying simulator. I don't think you will see, will feel the need of flight simulators. But it's back. MS is back. I repeat, a little less number of games, 84 games, but it's back. It's the most important thing that is back. You saw the image was stretched to the entire screen. Okay, another thing, another stuff. Do you remember the Sega CD included the CHD Plus file, which have a double compression? I've decided to put back the original CHD files for the Sega CD. This is an argument for the tech savvy, but you started to learn about the CHD, the compressed files, and I'm very glad of that. So I've decided that it was more secure, more trusty to have the original compressed CHD, not the double compressed, because guys, it's too much. Okay. The catch is it took more space compared to the double CHD Plus. The Mega CD is still separated on his own tab. The rest of the other system was the same. The Commodore 64 cartridge release and ports on cartridge type are on standalone list. Okay, so you can select without explore the whole 4000 ROM set of Commodore 64. Okay, let's change the theme because I want to show you that. Come on. Okay, this is the theme that I suggest for the 4/3 output. If you use a 4/3, I suggest use this theme because it's very simple and it's compatible with 4/3 output. Okay. So now you have the full control of the image. You can change bezel, you can turn off bezel, you can swap between two set of bezel, you can use a performance scanline bezel, or you can turn off everything and turn on widescreen mode. So the other options are the same. For this test, it's all enabled, included the Omega mode, which is the most interesting. Speed mode for the PI. This image have 4 bonus speed: Turbo, Ultra, Extreme, and Omega. So let's see together. The Turbo have 1750 megahertz. The Ultra mode have 1850. The Extreme mode 1850, and the Omega mode is the most evolved, the most extreme for real. It's 2048 megahertz. This is for the hardcore user that want to squeeze his PI4. Okay, to use that, have some recommendations. You cannot go the Omega mode if you have your PI into the original case, for example, because it will melt. Okay, you need at least a case with an active fan Otherwise you can buy an Argon one with aluminum body case and will keep your PI and good condition. Okay, and if you, like me, have an Argon 1K aluminum case, there's not problem at all, because everything is tested, even the Omega mode, so it will works great with great temps. And the performance are improved on Omega mode, of course. I suggest to enable for the more taxing system, like for example the PSP and the Dreamcast. The Saturn is not anymore because I've decided to remove it. And then there's the Super Ultra ES. If you want the max fluidity into ES, you have to install the script, and you can change between Super and Ultra ES. And what change? Basically, the emulation station will be more fluid, but you will notice better if you use custom theme similar to Super Sweet by RST, where is a very fast theme. So if you want speed, just use this theme with that model. Okay. So guys, it's all for today. I just want you to show the new feature and the return of MSDOS, because I've already showed the other stuff of the image which is retained, and the Retro Machine Omega 512GB will be the very last image for the PI4, and will be released within the holidays. My scope is to release at the end of this year, so let's see if I am able to release on those period of time. Okay, in the meantime, I thank you to follow me on this video, subscribe to channel, and keep the notification bell enabled to be sure when a new video will be uploaded. Bye bye.